I have four ideas for adding a lubricator to the wheels and an adhesive lubricator to the wheels for your sanding um, motions in Locomotive on and we have four different vehicles. I'm only going to count this as one invention for adhesives, but there's four different configurations. They're all a little different. This one is we'll show you this is coming up. Let's see here. We have adhesive. That one's coming up. That one's coming up. Where did I put it? Okay, this is a brusher flapper. What it does is it has a resin tank here, and then the resin tank, when this would actuate with it has a small hole here, which applies to either a rubber flapper with holes in it that pours on the wheels or some kind of paintbrush. So we're painting the adhesive onto the wheel, and then the sander's not pictured in these videos. Would be, you understand that it's right on the tread, so all of them are on the tread. So the brusher flapper resin tank painting the outside of the wheel, the tread part of the wheel, and what you would have is a sandbox, and then the air would blow the sandbox on the rail, and then the brusher rubber adhesive. They usually use a stick, grease stick, but I've come up with adhesive bins and some neat different ways to add adhesive to the wheel for sanding traction motor. This one's the brush and flap resin tank. And then we'll go back to e-published drawings. It wasn't labeled there. This one is it would have a spool of double-sided electrician's tape, and then it comes out on the tread in between these two rollers. And then in the middle, it would be perforated, kind of like a trash bag. On the outside, it would be like a shopping bag with a tab. And so it would perforate, and the adhesive would catch on the outside part, on the second side of the electrician tape, double-sided electrician tape, and snap off, kind of like pulling a shopping bag out of Walmart or something. So that tapes adhesive, double-sided adhesive to the thing, and then once again you'd have the sandbox spraying the sand on the wheel, and then like who knows how much how good it would work. All right, moving on to the adhesive resin bin sprayer. So here we have some kind of plaster gun and a resin tank. The resin tank would be filled, and then it would meet inside there. It would fill in the resin tank, go into this, and it would have a poppet valve, which sprayed it like a plaster paint sprayer. So what you're doing is spraying adhesive onto it. And the good thing about this is you could always do a sand. You could spray it any time you wanted. And then the last one I have is an overhead sand break adhesive ink pad. So we would saturate the ink pad and then press the ink pad on the wheel, and then either the sand would be mixed with the adhesive in the ink pad, or the adhesive would put the adhesive on the wheel. And depending on how you want to do the sandbox and the hose and the air hose to the sandbox. And that are my adhesive rail car sandbox applications, and I count those since they're four different configurations but the same concept, one invention.